Hey guys, Lord Naren White here, the Holy Ghost, the one true God, back with you with the next video in my Daily Diary series. As usual, before I discuss what I have achieved since yesterday's Daily Diary video, I want to read you a chapter from the Bible. Today it will be the book of Esther, chapter 2. After these things, when the wrath of King Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done, and what was decreed against her. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, Let there be fair young virgins sought for the king, and let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of the kingdom, his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the women, unto the custody of Hedge the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women, and let their things for purification be given them. And let the maiden which pleaseth the king be queen instead of Vashti. And the thing pleased the king, and he did so. Now in Shushan the palace there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, a Benjamite, who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity which had been carried away with Jeconiah king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon had carried away. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. So it came to pass, when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house, to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the women. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her things for purification, with such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens, which were to be given her, out of the king's house, and he preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house of the women. Esther had not shewed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not shew it. And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the women's house, to know how Esther did, and what should become of her. Now when every maid's turn was come to go in to King Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months according to the manner of the women, for so were the days of their purifications accomplished, to wit 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the women. Then thus came every maiden unto the king, whatsoever she desired was given her to go with her out of the house of the women unto the king's house. In the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned into the second house of the women, to the custody of Shashgaz, the king's chamberlain, which kept the concubines. She came in unto the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name. Now when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come in to go unto the king, she required nothing but what Haggai the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed, and Esther obtained favor in the sight of all of them that looked upon her. So Esther was taken unto King Ahasuerus into his house royal in the 10th month, which is the month Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head, and made her queen instead of Vashti. Then the king made a great feast unto all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast, and he made a release to the provinces and gave gifts, according to the state of the king. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Esther had not yet shewed her kindred, nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Teresh, of those which kept the door, were wroth, and sought to lay hand on the king, Ahasuerus. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen, and Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. And when the inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore they were both hanged on a tree, and it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. I think one of the, the purpose of this chapter is to tell us as the reader about, after Vashti disobeyed. So again, if you're lacking context, let's read Esther 1, 11, and 12. To bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to shew the people and the princes her beauty, for she was fair to look on. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. So Vashti disobeys King Ahasuerus' decree, his command. And so that's why Vashti loses favor with Ahasuerus. And so now we learn that in place of Vashti, another woman will rise. Some woman will rise, a virgin. Some virgin woman will rise, and she will be whoever the, whichever of these, let's see here. Esther 2:4 writes, and let the maiden which pleaseth the king be queen instead of Vashti. And the thing pleased the king, and he did so. So that is the idea there. That is the idea that whichever of these girls that Ahasuerus looks upon and enjoys her company in what, I'm not really, going into the context of what they're doing, but, whoever Ahasuerus likes, she will become queen in place of Vashti. And of course, it ends up being Esther. So that is really quite beautiful. And one of the other very powerful passages here is Esther 2:10. And says, Esther had not shewed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged that she should not shew it. So, of course, Mordecai knows that Esther is being favored by Ahasuerus already after the first meeting. And he tells her, let's not, don't tell anybody, because that wouldn't be good. They wouldn't be happy for Esther. That she, so very powerful stuff there. And one of the lessons actually that I would, that I know that I learned from a Narengelical perspective is seeing the quick rise of Esther in terms of status. One of the things, I created a vision, for my, I call it I talk about like my ultimate goal, which is the siring of my son into the world. And of course, I'll also be adopting daughters. And one of the reasons I intend to adopt girls is because if you are able to get your daughter married off to a man of power, that is a much greater rise in station over a very short period of time than I think can happen a lot of times for men. Because you don't often see men of low birth or lower station marry women of higher station. Those women are typically for men of higher station. But you do see men of higher station marry women of lower station. And so the idea being that if a proverbially rich or powerful man, or a man who served in some sort of distinct station, saw value in my daughter, that would be good for her, because that would be a rather quick increase in station, and it would give her an opportunity to do more good for Narengelicism by way of marriage to one of these successful men. And of course, hopefully, the children, most importantly, the children will be raised as Narengelical. Anyways, that's all theory for me for the future, but that's definitely something that I see from the book of Esther so far. I don't know how Esther's journey will go, but I know that that quick rise in station by way of marriage to a man of means is something that's definitely stereotypically more associated with women than men. And with that, I'll go ahead and end the Daily Diary video there for today and transition over to what I have achieved since yesterday's Daily Diary video. Since yesterday's Daily Diary video, I worked at my chest, I worked at my legs, I created, uploaded, and scheduled this Daily Diary video for 4/29/23, and I've also created other video game videos, so that should be good. And with that, I want to go ahead and say thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe as it greatly helps the channel. Light be with you all. Take care, and thanks again.